Good morning, everyone. Well, big number turned out to be not such a big number. Well, nothing happened. But what is happening is the spring is coiling, and it appeared, right? We covered this I guess last week, whatever. We covered, right, the contracting highs and lows, and there was the little breakout there, according to the connecting the dot traders. And so it came back in, and yesterday was a down day. Looks, you know, wouldn't get off the mat. We gave it a shot on the long side in the room here, um, on the S&Ps, and it didn't work out. It just bobbled around and bobbled around. No big deal. And so now we've got an inside day. Look, it's like coiling right from day to day there. Let's look at the 65-minute chart here. It's not really the same idea where, the highs and lows are so clearly defined as tightening up there, but it's tightening. And so on the number of prices come up here a little bit. And so let's erase this nonsense anyway. You get what I mean. So at some point, something's got to give. And we don't know which way. I mean, maybe it explodes to the upside or to the downside. We're waiting for what I've defined in last week or this week's chart of the week as an event. And maybe we'll get it today. As we look at this, is like, okay, this is a little minor event right there where it broke out and now there's no follow through, or we're going to get a red bar ignored. Yeah, Trump will open his mouth, Robert, and yeah, and it'll be the taco trade scenario, whip back and forth, or he'll back off on whatever it is. He didn't back off on Venezuela, but you know, it kind of has remnants of Iraq. You know, the uh, the weapons of mass destruction. I guess maybe that was about oil too. I don't know. Now you got all these oil CEOs going to the White House today, I guess, to divvy up the gold, and we'll see where it all happens with that. Maybe it's all a good thing. I really don't know. It's all something in motion, and we'll see where it all plays out. You have to be a little, I think, uncomfortable to think like, hey, there's people down there that maybe don't like what's going on, and they come into this country and they blow something up. You don't know, whatever. It's happened before. We'll just pay attention to the charts. So, look, things are tightening up. There was an event. So far, no follow through. What else is an event? And I can give you an example. That's an event. It's a wide range bar event there in Apple. So there's kind of an event, right? I mean, this didn't have any defined a whole bunch of bars to the left there where it broke down, but it did try and come back up again. So there was a little flush, as it came down there. And now this pattern, as you can see, begins to gravitate toward a long setup, which I was thinking that at the time. I didn't buy it, but I was certainly thinking that this would go up, even the way this came down, it was holding and was sideways. And then you get this event. And I remember at the time I mentioned to Dan about a call spread, and surprisingly, and it's been that way, on a bunch of times, that there was no premium. Maybe it's because the VIX is so low, and you can see it's come off the low a little bit, but you got to wonder, after the market's been up as much as it has over time, is this a message of complacency? I don't, you know when right? And things shake out one way or another. But look at the AD number from yesterday, and it backed off from the high over here. plus 1,000 in a market that went nowhere. So under the hood, I use that terminology, under the hood, there were positives that were going on. Um, so, there's an example, IWM pushing up, and it looks like a new closing high up there. Look at the weekly chart. Yeah, it's a new all-time closing high and a wide range bar on the weekly chart. So that's a big plus right there. Transports, this is the ETF, but you got a sort of a bear sandwich, up bar, down bar, up bar. So that's a positive. So there are these positives, 100% for sure. It's not like throwing darts. You gotta, I showed you a screen yesterday, the top-down approach, the sectors, and sorting them out, what does well and what doesn't do well. And so maybe semiconductors begin to catch up, but look, the Magnificent Seven, they stink lately. Apple going down and Microsoft is hovering down near the lows. So you got to go out there and find what's working out. So let's continue here. What's moving around here? Silver still consolidating the game. It's in an uptrend, got kind of whippy and erratic. It happens. Gold shaping up. These aren't range expansion bars, but that sure as the hell was a range expansion, nasty big down bar. And so far, it's just recovering. It's tightening up. It's recovering. Bitcoin, I think everybody's waiting. What's it going to do? It's been hovering down here for over a month. Maybe where this pullback, maybe it turns up. It's just not doing anything today. But I'm watching it to see if this thing gets going, because if it gets going, there's demand down here. There's supply too. And it's not tightening like a coil spring like the NASDAQ is, but you can see, it's a trading range. And here it's tightening up a bit from what it was there. So I think me and a lot of people are watching to see if it takes off, because if it does, after a base like this, it can make a substantial move. So, have your alerts, throw it in a thumbnail and keep an eye on the usual, and also the usual suspects. Here's Ethereum, similar kind of pullback. But look at the distance here between the pivot highs and the pivot lows. And we talked about this last week, this tight little consolidation on the topping tail, which didn't follow through. But buyers are not all that enthusiastic. Right? They're still being a little conservative. But once the buying starts, if it's going to, I think it'll move with some momentum. But you can see how it's tightening up here. And so it certainly could make another leg down. But what if we could get a bar like Apple, right? That topping tail bar, but flip it upside down, where this goes down to here and rips right back up again. That's what we call a tell. Right now, we don't have any significant tells. So you just stay away. Crude oil, a lot of nothing. They're talking $50 oil. Maybe. Who knows? Again, we're just chartists. To me, it looks like it's trying to bottom. You can see that weekly chart there. Broke the lows, pop back up. It's just going nowhere. Overlapping bars. The message to me is just stay away. And whatever the futures are doing here, we looked at the Qs, spiders, S&Ps look like they're going to break out. Right? They got to go higher. I haven't even looked at the premium and SPX yet, but look, it's not like the NASDAQ where the highs and lows are so evident of a triangle, but this is going sideways at resistance. Look at, you got these pivots here, and I discount this one because, it's way back here in November, but this came up and touched it, and it came down, and this came up, and, it touches this and touches this, and you've got this so far tightening at resistance. What's going to move it, right, is the question. We thought today's numbers would get it moving, and it's just a bust, right? That was the slide, boom or bust. And it's not truly a bust. It's more of a disappointment. Bust meaning it would have cratered and a boom takes off. Inside day, it's like a yawn. It's like nothing. All right. So where are we at here? Moving up, gapping up a little bit into that red bar. Let's see where my cursor is. This was marked from the other day up there at 692. And now we look at SPX. And told you this number here down yesterday was, I thought, impossible to go down there. And it was just a go nowhere day. So where are things here now? I'm looking to update. All right, so the bottom number is 6830. Interesting, right? This is gapping up. I'm not sure what that means other than it should be going up, right? 6830 is where the premium going down. So I think, look, in my mind, it means somebody's buying bearish bets, puts. And so the premium goes up. That's there. Yeah. Actually moved to 35. These things move fast, but premium. All right. Oh, I see what's going on. I'm typing on the word there where the number is. Hold on. Okay, that's where it needs to be. All right, what's the top number? Ooh, interesting. 7,000. Huh. That little gap up, it's weird. I don't understand it, tell you the truth. You know, this not moving much, not going up to 7,000 like that. That's not going to 7,000 today. I'm just double checking what I'm looking at here. Just kind of like in a little disbelief of what my eyes are seeing. So just double checking, and yeah. And so, I mean, take what I say with a grain of salt as to anything can happen. But in my mind, it ain't going to 7,000 today. But I'll tell you, options that maybe it will by options expiration, because that's where the big open interest is in puts and calls at 7,000, and it has a tendency to put it there. So look, this is sideways. Let's say it's an uptrend. Major support is here. As long as it holds above 6,900, chopping around here, I'm willing to have a bias that there's a pretty good potential that it can go up there by next week, especially now that this number's out of the way. So we'll see how it goes. Interest rates, not doing too much here. Down a little bit in this trading range, just not much happening. See here. There's, the 2-year down, whip up. I just, I think, as I look at all these charts, I think the world for the most part is confused. And with all these coiling things, Venezuela, will Colombia, I don't know what even this talk is about Greenland, but Now there's, these ships moving around with barrels of oil in it and all that. The world is a crazy place. It always has been. Right? It's getting more crazy, but you know, just follow the charts and see how this unfolds. Um, Energy whip up, whip down. So I guess these oil companies, we'll see what comes from today's meeting. There's Halliburton, they'll be there, and that looks like it's going higher. He's involved with everything. I'm saying Trump's involved with everything, and yeah, I mean, look, on the surface, it seems that he's securing this country, which was in danger of, I think, becoming a third world country under the prior administration, the way things were going, or worse. And everybody has their own opinions, but I guess you can't turn the Titanic in a moment. So, all yours, Dan.
Good morning. Happy Zero DTE Day. I don't have many alarms going off here. Markets are coming in right now. A little bit. I think it's going to be another consolidation day myself. IWM ripped yesterday, as you saw. Alex, we got to fix this 200 MA. I had to redo this chart because my volume is messed up and it messes up that 200 MA up. Oil, we just looked at Halliburton. OIH is the best looking of the oil ETFs. So let's scan that whole sector today. All alarm gapping up here, nice. We're in that on the ETF. Now nuclear stocks are ripping here today. It's a nice gap breakout. We're in this in the ETF. Look, W bottom on the weekly on support. Buy setup monthly. Well, that was a perfect trade for the ETF. Daily, weekly, monthly, longer holding periods. Tilray. Yeah, as you know, I shorted the $8 puts yesterday, and I bought calls on MSOS, and this one's not doing much. Alex, I think we goofed. We should have bought calls on Michael Jackson. This one's moving, but the pattern on the other one was better. But remember we said Tilray could, we won't know till after the fact. Could be the home run entry. I mean, we've said that many other times. So I don't have high confidence. But the thing blasted on the Trump news, and we got a retest of the 200 with a gap. Now it's gapping up over 10%. So surely not buying the open. Buy setup weekly. Well, let's scan marijuana stocks. Well, there's not many of them left anymore. Ron gapping up that low pattern. Look, this should have gone higher. So it's stabilized, but it ain't moving. So that's still dead money. CGC is weaker, but it's better because you got a wide range closing breakout. I mean, too bad they don't have puts we could sell under yesterday's low. That's it in alarms. I don't have anything. Let's go to earnings. So Tilray was earnings. Here's a couple other. AEHR 24, no pattern. PBX. That was a nice breakout Tuesday. but nothing to do right now. No pattern. Slip down a little bit. Looks lower, but no pattern. I got nothing there in earnings other than our marijuana. And so the rest, well, here, let me start down here. So look at all these. Well, Glencore here. That looks like the news was out yesterday in Glencore trying to merge with Rio. That's gapping down, so that could be a call spread, but it's an ADR. Now, Google's on my list here. It was a put spread yesterday, but it came down hard and we held off. But now I like it for directional. If it chops around here at yesterday's high, and then after 10 a.m., let's, hopefully we get this tariff decision at 10, get that out of the way. Now this is all-time highs. A breakout there, a little pseudo 1, 2, 3. And Meta said they were renewing, I think it was Meta, renewing their nuclear contracts, which is why this whole sector's ripping. RNLR, I already showed you. SMR is a bottoming pattern. CCJ. That was a nice breakout the other day. Look at that controlled buying all week long. Possibly a 0 DTE put spread. And UEC, another continuation breakout, but no good void. 4 U's. No pattern. NME, 36 bucks. Look, this energy was lagging, but now it's gapping up to 150. So maybe a put spread there. LAU, no pattern. GTX, we're in this already, but you can add over the highs. Little bear sandwich there. OIH, I showed you. Gleam 208, bottoming pattern. Gap breakout. Greg showed you IBIT, Ether, we're in. SLDP, another bottoming pattern. QURE, gap breakout. No great boy, but that'd be a no-brainer put spread. Lucy, nothing. JPI. Bottoming pattern. Let's set an alarm at 7:05. ALGM broke out, 2 inside bars. I like the weekly, monthly. We just got to let it chop around a little more. Sites. Sam, that's on your list. That would be a great put spread. Check 128 for next week. There are no 128s and they're spread, so forget that. Oh yeah, I posted a chart of regional banks. Look really good. Look at a KBWB. I think that looks great. Broke out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So in Telegram, I posted a bunch of regional banks that we're watching. WBS. Tapestry is retail, but that's strong. There's our JPI again. confirm, let it chop around some more. LZ, got an alarm up there. Continuation breakout. There's the bank sector, KBWB. EWBC I like. Looks great. H hotel I like. Closing breakout. Hotels have been really strong. That's all-time high. A lunar, we're in this. We're in trail mode. Where's our spot? Lunar 1858. Okay, so just let it play out. LOW put spread idea, but they're spreading. Estee Lauder, I was hoping we'd get a 1, 2, 3, but I see it gapping up. All right, so housing, Trump said, told those Freddie Mac and all buy 200 billion of bonds, trying to drive interest rates down. And I saw Rick Santelli on CNBC saying, you know what, they didn't budge the longer term rates. So it looks like smoke and mirrors. But Rocket Mortgage is gapping up. Open, it's a real estate, online real estate thing, but no pattern. Oh, Oscar, they said they're gonna extend the subsidies, healthcare subsidies for 3 years. That's a big turnaround. I thought Republicans were dead ass set. No way. I guess I got enough political pressure. That's the Oscars up, but no pattern. General Motors has taken like a $7 billion hit for their EV mistake. Ah, thing's been on a tear. That's an all-time high. These are some more nuclear. Oklo, that's a big gap. Man, look at that gapping up here. That could be a 0 DTE. VST, that's a pro gap right there. You got these railroad declining 2015 is capping up over these ugly bars. This, I think, had earnings, bearish gap, but no pattern. RVMD took off the other day. That would be a call spread. I already looked up there to spreading. CCJ, yeah. So those are that's maybe 0 DTE. Yeah, futures retracing that the 830 number pop. Iran bottoming pattern, set an alarm 4750. Ulta, we're in. I just had a up alarm go off. Nice, Ulta. That's been a nice trade. Set a new alarm 65. Low alarm 652. Purple. Up alarm. We did a call spread yesterday. It's the 200s, so we get plenty of room still. Moss up alarm with one of our commodity longs. Moss looks great. Look at that 15-minute chart. Set new alarms. 2760. Low alarm 2650. Actually, I'm gonna move the stuff right now under here, about 2628. EWBC triggering. Is that early? Oh, yeah. EWBC Alta up alarm. WBS, another regional bank. Posted. Let me see if it's real entry or. Oh no, I didn't post EWBC yet. Um, let's buy yesterday's high. Stop. Um, yesterday's low. It's 60. IWM the strongest again, like yesterday. I had triggered. No, WBS I didn't post. So that was let's do the same though, over the high, stop low. $66.50. Chill right dog coming in. You're such a dog. I'm short the $8 puts, so I'll just let them go out. They should be worthless right now. Yep, 0 by 1. Maybe, yeah, that'd be a good 30-minute home. I'll give it over today's time. Yeah, that's whippier than some of the other ones. Alex, I like it a lot tighter, but I do like weekly, monthly more of a put spread. The 105s. 5 cents by 55. Google bottom right. RJ, yeah. Is another RJF's another one. WBC triggered. Please leave the back trigger. Need 40. Yeah. WBS. Iran. Iran looking good. Raven's still a dog. A pretty nice. Did the put spread yesterday. See where our gain is. Still, I thought that would be down more.
For a day trade, you can consider AMD. It's on the 100 MA, 20 on the weekly. It's
AMD?
Advanced Micro Devices. You can see the base from yesterday. Q's not the same on the daily chart, but intraday, it's a similar pattern. They might be able to, they look like they're gonna go up. See the 5-minute base? CNBC says awaiting the Supreme Court opinions. I mentioned yesterday, I read on X, supposed to happen at 10 o'clock.
And how are the computers gonna read all those really quick?
You know what's an amazing thing on X with Grok? Like I see stuff there and I'm like, people write things about options or some intricate bond stuff. And it's like, what is that about? And so on every post, there's a Grok button. You can click it and it gives an overview of what it's about. It's really cool. It might not be of any real interest to you, but I'm just saying there's stuff that I look at and I'm like, they get this really intricate option stuff there. And it's like, I don't understand what they're, I click it and it explains it. And it's like, okay. YM coming all the way back down after that rally. Let's see, McDonald's coming down. CRM. I don't see anything getting killed. Microsoft got down, but it's holding. Yeah. Uh, as things are going down, I'm looking at all the Dow stocks here, and none of them are collapsing, looking terrible. Intraday look like something. Nike sell setup failed. It's still in a downtrend, but that got bought big time yesterday when it gapped down. Set an alert on MicroStrategy above yesterday's high. Not doing anything, but the weekly is a bit of a climactic buy. It's an inside day today, so alerts don't cost anything. That poly market, what was it? You even posted it yesterday, Alex. Right? 25% chance they agree. Obviously, that means 75% that they won't. So I saw, I don't remember where or what it was, conversation where they talked about the poly market and odds are that the Supreme Court was going to knock it down. And what they said was Trump has other ways of imposing these tariffs, even if they do, but they didn't explain what they were.
They've explained it on the news in the past.
Yeah, I didn't listen.
Well, I'm not saying they did it while you were watching it. I'm saying they have in the past many times.
Yeah.